the discussed Carmelites. Several names might pop in your mind. St. Teresa of Avila, St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa of the Child Jesus. We, the discussed Carmelite friars in Nairobi, dedicate some time every month to increase your knowledge on our Carmelite saints. Join me today as we journey together in Knowing Your Carmelite Saints February edition. We continue to increase your knowledge in our Carmelite saints and hope that in their life they might inspire you in different ways in your life. Thank you very much and welcome. Hello, hi, hope you are in good health. Welcome to Know Your Carmelite Saints. Last month we did an episode on Know Your Carmelite Saints, and we thank you for the positive criticism and the comments and the encouragement you gave us. And one of the comments was that we should not only do saints, we should also include the blessed, the venerables, the servants of God. Working on that, we decided it's a good thing. In fact, this month, the month of February, we don't have saints, those who have been canonized, but we have those who have been beatified. We have two. We have blessed Eugene Marie of the Child Jesus and blessed Joseph Naval, who was an O.C.D. So I invite you to journey with us together as we review the life of this blessed, as we from their lives we deduce some aspect which can help us, and as we increase our knowledge on our Carmelite saints. Welcome. Our first blessed is blessed Eugene Marie of the Child Jesus, and that name reminds you of St. Teresa of the Child Jesus. Yes, he was influenced by that saint. He was born on December 2nd, 1894 in France. He was from a family of 5 children, him being the firstborn, and the dad passed on when he was still a kid. You can imagine the burden which was left to the mother. From a very early age, he always wanted to become a priest, and in 1905 he left to Italy to study, and studied under the fathers of the Holy Spirit, where he learned how to read and write. After that, he wanted to join the minor seminary, but because of the socio-economic situation that time, the mother did not have enough resources to take him to minor seminary. Instead of her taking him to the minor seminary, he placed him under the apprenticeship of a metal worker. And our Eugene Marie, although he did not desire that, he put himself to that and learned as much as he could. But her mother, being the intuitive mother she was, she gathered some resources and took him to the minor seminary, and on 2nd of October 1911 he joined the minor seminary, and after minor seminary he joined the major seminary, of which his studies were disrupted by the Second World War. He had to drop out, go and join the army, where he fought for 6 years up to a position of being a lieutenant. After that, he went back to the major seminary and completed his studies. It was during this period that his life is going to be transformed after reading the works of Sister Teresa of the Child Jesus, by then not yet canonized, and is from that he really got a devotion for her, and we can even see from his name that he took the name which was also taken by St. Teresa of the Child Jesus. He was not only influenced by St. Teresa of the Child Jesus, but also other Carmelite saints, St. John of the Cross, St. Teresa of Jesus. And during this time, he was convinced that he had a vocation to join the Brothers of Our Lady of Mount Carmel, the discussed brothers. He was ordained as a priest on 2nd February 1922, and on the 24th of the same month, he left the diocesan setting and joined the discussed Carmelite brothers, where he joined the novitiate to fulfill his desire to become a Carmelite. A year later, on March 11, 1923, he took his first vows and became a discussed Carmelite brother. Blessed Eugene Marie lived as a Carmelite until he passed on March 27th, 1967. He was beatified on 19th November 2016, and we have so much to learn from this blessed. Among the many things which he is known for, I would like to point out only 3 of them. First, he is known as a great spiritual author and a spiritual director. He is known for his work, I Want to See God, which is in 2 volumes, and it is in this work he discusses the Carmelite doctors, that is Saint Teresa of Avila, Saint John of the Cross, and he dives into spiritual theology and into the reality of contemplation, into the reality of mental prayer, which was really helpful for him because he was also known for giving retreats, directing retreats, giving spiritual direction, and this makes him an icon. The second thing he's known for is that at some point when he was the superior of Carmelite boys at one of the secondary schools, he was approached by some ladies who were also teachers there to teach them how to do mental prayer. And he took this as a chance to really teach them about mental prayer, to really teach them about contemplation. And the aim of doing this was that he was convinced in a world which was turning to atheism, declining the existence of God, and the world which was really becoming secular. He was convinced that the only solution to that was to teach ordinary people living outside there, living an ordinary life outside there, not the religious or clergy, to teach them about God. And he took this as a chance to teach these ladies about mental prayer, about contemplation. And he really did that, and to the point that it became an institute, a secular institute, which not only was focusing on the women, but also some brothers and also some clergy. And for this is known, that is really an apostolic dimension of a Carmelite. He is known of spreading faith, spreading that spirituality outside there, and establishing this secular institute. Thirdly, he is a great leader. He is known for his leadership skills. He was at some point superior of several communities. He was also appointed as an apostolic visitator, and he moved in different regions of the order in Asia, in India. He was also a vicar general, and all this shows that he was a great leader. He was a person who was able to narrow down, to go down, to reach to brothers, to interact with different cultures, to administer well as a leader, to visit different communities. At some point he was appointed as a visitator and managed to visit 150 communities in France, and this shows the great leadership skills which he had. It is from this we can borrow a lot from our blessed, who really showed an aspect of a Carmelite. And what makes him an icon of his age and of our age is that he really pushed himself. At some point during the end of his life, he was really exhausted, and he was advised to just settle down and relax, but he could not just do that. He continued giving retreats until unfortunately his health failed and he passed on. That's the saint we are talking about. It's really an interest. That's the blessed we are talking about. It's really an interesting one, and there is a lot we can learn from him. Brother, please tell me, what do you think of this blessed Eugene Marie?
Yeah, blessed Eugene Marie was a good educator who could spread the Carmelite spirituality to all the corners of the world. And being a priest, also being a Carmelite, he didn't dedicate his life only to the monastery, but he could move around other monasteries, teaching people the Carmelite spirituality, which is welcome to everyone. It's not only for our brothers only, not for the nuns only, but our spirituality is for everyone. It can be communicated to every people all over the world. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And there is one thing which our spirituality upholds, that is a hidden union with God, and it is really shown in the life of Blessed Eugene Marie, especially the desire he had to serve God. What do you think of when he entered the major seminary? He was the formation, his studies was disrupted by war, First World War, and he had to go and fight. And for 6 years, he came back and finished, and still became joined the Carmelite brothers. What do you think of that?
Yeah, for me, the first time I read his the history, I was surprised, because for 6 years being in war, then coming back to join a monastery, it was a surprise to me. First of all, he's someone who had that desire to become a religious. He had that desire in his heart to serve God. Not only serving God in outside world, but to become a priest, to become a brother. The first time I read about his history, I was surprised. Spending 6 years in war, then coming back to join a religious life, for me it was a surprise. But this shows us Blessed Marie Eugene had that desire, and his vocation was deep in his heart. That shows that he was really dedicated and focused. Not only going to war, then coming back, his vocation didn't disappear in war, but he came back and he was determined to continue with his call, and definitely he joined Carmelite brothers, and finally he became one of the O.C.D. friars.
Thank you very much. That's a great person we have here, and we hope through your prayers that is going to become soon enough a saint. Thank you very much. We can go to the next one.
Our second blessed is Blessed Josepha Naval, who was born on 11th December 1820 in a family of 5, and she was the firstborn. She was baptized on the same day she was born, and on 1828 she was confirmed, and a year later she received her first communion. At the age of 13, Blessed Josepha Naval mother died, and as you know, being a firstborn, she was to take care of her 4 brothers and sisters, where she helped her dad to move to her maternal mother, to move to her maternal grandmother, so that she can support her brothers and sisters. At the age of 18, her spiritual director and her parish priest, through her consultation, she wanted to take the vow of chastity, and through the advice of the parish priest, she took the vow of chastity, which she was a desire in her to live a devout life of virginity, through which she can serve God in that holiness, which for her it was her desire to be a chaste. Though she was young, but it was her desire to have it in her life. Few years later, she became a discussed Carmelite secular member, where through her the Carmelite spirituality, she could educate young women in her home how to live this hidden life in God. She dedicated her life in teaching young women how to deepen their relationship with God through Carmelite spirituality, which for me is a call for holiness for everyone, not only those who are religious, but a deep call to all Christians to have that union with God. And my brother, I may ask you, how do that teaching which Blessed Josepha had touches you more?
Actually, two things really inspire me about her. The first is her dedicating her life at a very tender age, at the age where one is at that time you are just getting to the best of your years. You want to exalt yourself outside there. You want to achieve something big. You know that energy you have when you are young and you are just turning 18, and it's a lot of a lot of energy, a lot of potential, and want to choose to dedicate her life to God, to serve, especially in the vow of chastity, is something which is really amazing, and I think it's something which really inspires me about her. Her vocation, she responds to God's vocation of serving Him as a chaste woman at that age, and she goes ahead and does that and joins the O.C.Ds. That is something which I really find encouraging. Secondly, I see her as a model for those who are for women empowerment. It's something which nowadays has really got up enough strength, but at that particular time you can imagine that it was not as it is now. We have feminist movements and women empowerment, girl child empowerment. Those things we have those structures right now, but then we didn't have much. But she goes ahead and decides to use the available tools she has, the knowledge she has from the Carmelite spirituality, to empower women in the society. That is something which I find really inspiring about her. She's a model for those who fight for women's rights and those who empower the girl child in the society. I think she deserves to be seen as a model in that. Yeah.
Okay, much is known about her because, as you know, during that time there was a civil war in Spain and all her documents get lost, so we didn't have much of her during her middle age. Josepha died on 24th February 1893, and years later, on 1946, her remains were removed from the parish of St. James and were placed in a metallic and grass box where everyone could venerate. She was beatified on 25th September 1988, and as a saint we are celebrating this month, and we request your prayer assistance to our sister that she can be canonized. Thank you very much.
It is said that what sets us apart is not so much at the period or epoch we lived, but what we did at the time we lived. These are two figures who lived at almost the same time but in different situations, and in what they had, they made the best of it. They became icons to represent their age with the material they had, with the conditions they found themselves in. They made the best use of it. It is an inspiration to us. It's a kind of model we can learn from, that despite what you're experiencing or despite what you are going through, we can still make the best of it. We can become the icons of our age. We can inspire people, not just now but years to come. Thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you very much for choosing to listen to our Carmelite, Know Your Carmelite Saints, and see you next month with a March edition of Know Your Carmelite Saints. Thank you very much. Have a blessed month ahead, and we'll continue praying for us. Thank you very much.
Tulisambaze